Hey folks, JD here, and today I've bought a new phone. This is the Honor 10 Lite by Huawei, and straight off the bat, if you are going to give this as a gift, the box is very good quality, so it's going to have that premium feel when a person opens it up. Taking the lid off the box, we have the phone that stares us straight in the face just laying on the top there. We'll come back to the phone in a couple of minutes because I just want to see the rest of the contents of this box first. If we take off the inlet card from the inside, then as soon as we open it up, we are greeted with the case for the phone sitting on top. Very nice touch, Huawei, very nice indeed. Underneath there we have a couple of manuals. The first one's a warranty card, and then moving on to the second one, which is our quick user guide / manual. And then we have our SIM removal tool right there. Inside the box as well, you also get a micro USB cable as well as a 3-pin plug for the UK, but obviously you'll get another plug for wherever you are around the world. Now, coming on to the phone, if we just slip the phone out of its plastic house, then you will see on the front it has a couple of specs just sitting there. For instance, the size of the display is 6.21 inch, it's a 24 megapixel front camera, and there's a few other things as well. It also, out of the box, comes with Android 9 Pie, which is the brand new version of Android. So taking the top off it, we are greeted with this beautiful 6.21 inch display, and it is as proper edge to edge as you can get. Really, well, we'll come on to that and have a little look at that a little bit later. Peeling the back off there, very satisfying indeed. You'll see that we have the AI camera, LED, fingerprint sensor, and 2 cameras there, one for depth of field and one as your actual camera. Let me just get rid of this little bit at the bottom here, that's quite annoying. Okay, good. Now look at that reflective surface of the back. Let me just tilt it towards the light. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. I went for the sapphire blue version just because I wanted to have that wave on the back. Looks absolutely beautiful. And then on the front you'll see that display. This is the only time you're going to see the display without a fingerprint on it. Okay folks, so this is a slightly different second part of this particular video. The first part you saw the unboxing, and since I recorded that, it's now been 4 days where I've been real world testing this. This has been my only device I've been using, so I've got the same screen cover that came on it when I bought it, as you can see. I've got the same case that I unboxed, and I gotta say, even though they're very basic cases and very basic screen covers, they're fantastic. It works really, really well. It is a dust magnet though. Look at that. So much dust has been attracted to this screen. It is unbelievable. I do feel as if I am cleaning it every 2 seconds. But that's neither here nor there for myself. So a couple of tech specs about this before we get into the phone itself. It has a 6.21 inch screen. Its resolution is 2340 by 1080 pixels. You can expand the storage at the top here, so you can include a 512 by gigabyte micro SD card, which you can slot in here. But if you do have that in, you can only use one of the 2 SIM slots. So this is a dual SIM phone. I don't need 2 SIMs, only one. So the second one, I've got my SD card in there. Fingerprint sensor at the back. If I touch it, it's extremely quick to act. Look at that. So if I just touch it again, extremely fast. As standard out of the box, as I said in the previous video, it comes with Android 9, which is Pie, the newest release of Android. Since having this phone 4 days, I've had 2 security updates and 1 Android update, which I think is brilliant, because Android, as you know, has got a bit of an issue with fragmentation and with update release schedules. So far, this has blown me out the water in having so many updates in 2 days. One when I took it out of the box and one this morning. It has a octa-core processor, so in fact it has 2 processors at 2 different clock speeds. One quad-core at 1.7 GHz and another quad-core at 2.2 GHz. It comes, as this is the UK version, comes with 3 GB of RAM, and its architecture as standard, its base architecture is 64-bit. The battery inside here is 3/4, if not all, of the size of this phone. It comes in at 3400 milliamp hour battery, and it's incredibly efficient. My one downside about it is that we're still using micro USB. It's not really the end of the world, to be honest, but I was expecting, as with a lot of other Honor and Huawei devices, I was expecting USB-C. It's not the end of the world because I charge when I sleep, so that's no problem. So that for me is alright, but still, I would have liked that. That's pretty much one downside for me. A couple of other things about it as well is, as you're going to see, the screen itself. You can turn on so many gestures. So as you pick up the device, the screen can come on. I've set that. I've set a couple of other things as well. But let's first of all unlock it and look at this absolutely beautiful, beautiful device. So straight away, what I find when I first unlocked this is that it was extremely striking. So now I've got one of my wallpapers that I've taken with one of my quadcopters. Some people may know the location if you've seen some of my videos. So one thing that really does stand out to me is just how quick this device is for a budget mid-range smartphone. Now, in saying that, I don't think it should have the budget view, because in all fairness, this really isn't. I've disabled the buttons. I've got all the gestures working. I've got loads of other things working with this as well. And look at it, it's just so quick. It really is snappy. I mean, even if you come out of that, if I delete all my apps, if I open up one brand new, bang, there it is. You know, it is entirely quick. It really is. Facebook. And then once Facebook opens, bang, there it is. You know, it is incredibly quick. But of course, you have got the hardware behind it to just kick it into play, and it is optimized for Android 9. Now, this notch up here, if you don't like it, you can turn it off. There is an option in here to make this notch all one taskbar at the top, which does limit your screen slightly, which isn't the end of the world, as it is a 6.21 inch screen. Now, as I've had this for 4 days of constant use, I have been running digital balance on here just to give you an idea of what I've been using. So this is basically, for today, what have I been doing. I've been editing some photos on here, playing Pokemon, because that is the one game that I play and that I love, and also been taking some photos from my stock photo library. I've been flying the Tello. I've also been checking out my Fitbit, also doing some more editing in Snapseed, replying to some comments on YouTube, answering some emails, you know, very basic things, very basic things. But at the same time, what I have noticed is that for the past 3 hours and 30 minutes, this has been working flat out with, as you can see here, with all of these things here. And so far, let me just take the phone away, 58% battery today, and I've been up and operational since, what time is it now? It's 10 to 12, and I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning. So I'm really happy with that, because I've hammered this today. On a normal working day, Monday through Friday, I've only had this since Wednesday last week, but that did give me Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to use it in a work scenario, where I use Strava for my cycles back and forth to work. I use Fitbit, which is connected to my Fitbit in my arm. I also use my podcast as well, so I can listen to some of my podcasts as I'm cycling with my my bone phones on. Then what I found there as well is when I was getting into work with the iPhone, I was having 79% battery left on the iPhone, sometimes even 70. On this, I'm lucky if I go down 2%. So I'll be hitting work after an 11-mile cycle with 98% battery. And by the time I'm plugging it in the night, I've got 30% left. I am so very happy with that, as my iPhone was taking 2 and 3 charges a day. Now, a couple of other things just to show you as well. Obviously, we've seen the speed. I want to show you the camera. This has got so many different options, but I think for this, I'm going to change into a slightly nicer setting and show you some of the photos and some of the things the camera can do. Alright folks, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to have a little look at this camera and show you some of the features of it. Okay, these aren't going to be all features because there are far too many to go through to make this video watchable in a nice condensed time, but I can go through some. So when you open the camera app, this is what you're going to have. You're going to have a load of different options at the bottom, different styles, so photo, portrait, night, aperture, as well as video and more. Okay, more gives you all of these features right here. So you have AR lens, panorama, pro, light painting, HDR, time-lapse, stickers and filter. On standard photo with AI off, you have a nice picture. So obviously it adjusts from light. You can then click the button, you have a nice little shutter sound. Now, if you click AI mode on, this is where it gets a little bit creepy. Is it looks at what you point in the camera and it goes plants. There we go. So it's adjusted the light so you can take photos of the plants in optimum light. Okay, you do have autofocus, tap to focus. You can just click once and then again tap. You can come over to some other plants over here, something a little bit that requires a little bit more focus for argument's sake, and you can click on here and then you can tap once to adjust. Obviously as well, if you want to, you can turn motion on, which again, like the iPhone, so when you click motion enabled, it turns off AI mode, but it does mean that when you then go back into your photos, you can click and hold and you get a couple of seconds of motion there as well. So it actually records a little video and then encapsulates that as a photo. So that then you can go back to. So once again, we've also got your flash, and you've got your settings. So you can have your resolution, which is 13 megapixel or 4:3, or of course you can increase that, decrease your megapixel, but increase your photo style, your photo ratio rather, to 18:7:9 at 8 megapixel. You can add a watermark if you want to. You can add a grid, for the rule of fifths, the rule of fourths, the rule of sixths, which is to make sure you have one thing in every single square, or not have everything just dead center. You can also have a timer on as well, capture smiles, ultra snapshot as well. So therefore you have a lot of options there. So if I just shoot a couple of these, see, so with you looking at 18:7, it makes the whole screen the viewfinder rather than just a little boxy window. And then you can come here and then you can just click the button as many times as you want to, and you get a nice landscape photo. So let's have a little look at these photos that I'm taking now. So they were with motion on and AI off. So if I put AI on, then AI on automatically goes back to 4:3. So AI will not work on anything, on any other aspect ratio other than 4:3. It's not the end of the world, but it is what it is. As for video, a lot of you may be asking, what can you shoot video in? Well, your top is 1080. It is at 60 frames a second though. So, you can't really snuff at that. But it is going to be, again, 4:3 until you go with 18:7:9, which again then gives you fine HD 1080. But if you click on that, again, you have beautiful video that you can record. Oh, there we are. I can't record because I'm recording in the background. So that's fair enough. But then likewise, if you want to, you can just go back to 1080 at 60 frames. Now, I would much rather have the 60 frames than have the aspect ratio, so for me that's fine. This I like. You can mute the mic. I haven't seen that on a lot of other phones. In fact, I haven't seen it on any phone, have been able to mute the mic, because I do hate having to go in, detach the audio or to scrub the audio just to ensure I get a nice motion just to get a nice video instead. A couple of other things you can do. So on portrait mode, you can increase your beauty level. So if you're doing selfies, then what you can do is you can turn yourself on, you can turn the beauty level up, and then it'll make your skin and get rid of all the blemishes, make you fake and make you false. And then likewise in the middle, then you have no lighting. You have these different lighting modes: soft, butterfly, split, and stage. And then on the end you have bokeh, which is background blur. You can enable that should you want to. And then in night, when it comes to night photography, you've got ISO, which you can alter as well, which gives you can go up as far as 1600 or down to auto, or down as low as 100, I think is the lowest. Yeah, 100 is the lowest. And then likewise, but when you do take a night photo, your hand has got to be very, very, very still. And probably my favourite for the minute is Aperture. So you can alter the blurriness of the background from a 0.5 aperture level up to aperture 16. So, all it does is pretty much, once you take a photo of that, you can go into the gallery then, and inside the gallery, if you want to, you can click on the aperture icon at the top, and then you can tilt shift should you want to. So it might be good if you're doing landscape. So if you're doing, say, a lot of, a mall, a busy mall with people in, you want to make them look like little miniatures, little models, then that in itself might be an option that you take. So there we have it. That is the camera all sewn up. I'm very happy with it. I mean, if you are to use Huawei's own application, say the gallery, then it does give you a lot of information here that you can use. Obviously, as I showed you as well, you can change the aperture of Aperture photos. There's so many things you can do with it. It really is an okay app. I just prefer to use Google Photos, just simply because that is my go-to photography application, that and Snapseed. So inside there, I know exactly where I am. I've doctored a couple of photos on here as well. I've altered them, and as you can see, this is one photo I took with this particular phone. It looks great. Looks really good. I'm struggling to find any major downside. Small downside being, as I mentioned earlier, micro USB instead of USB-C. I'm glad we've got a 3.5mm jack on the bottom. As for sound and audio quality, no problem whatsoever with it. I found that it works very, very well. All the other gestures work great. Yeah, it's just very, very good. So I'm going to continue to use this. If you are a quadcopter flyer, you will want to know one thing. This is not a 5G Wi-Fi device, therefore it will not connect to any quadcopter which has it. It doesn't even show the SSID exactly as it should do, because it hasn't got a 5G module. It doesn't understand what the hell it is. So it only runs 2.4 gigahertz, which isn't the end of the world for me. I've got so many devices I use anyway. That's fine for what I need it for. But all in all, I am very, very happy with everything this phone has given me so far. With the depth of field camera as well, it actually does give you a pretty good depth of field. It's not fantastic, it's nowhere near SLR quality, so obviously don't be thinking that it is going to be, but it does give you that added sort of depth to bring the foreground to the front and put the background even further into the background. So yeah, all in all, I'm very happy. The battery is fantastic. The charge time is a little bit dodgy, about 2.5 to 3 hours, but you know, as I say, micro USB, they could have done USB-C, but they chose not to. Overall use of it is great. The size of it is fantastic. It feels premium. Even when you take off this cover, there's hardly any mark between where they've attached the screen and where they've attached the back plate of the phone. It's all done very, very nicely indeed. So yeah, I think it's a winner, folks. Let me know what you think. Have you got it? Do you like it? Have you had it for longer than I have? I'm over the moon with it. Absolutely. There we are, my friends. Thanks ever so much for watching and listening. I've been JD. You've been fantastic as always. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the channel. So until next time, my friends, have fun with your technology.